Mid-January Super Centex Podcast with Chad, Michael, and Bryce. Gentlemen, always good to see your lovely faces.
Howdy. I can't believe you're not wearing like a Texans hat or like a jersey today.
Yeah, certainly I have some Texans stuff on the wall. There's a Texans thing right there. Yeah, exciting times for the Texans, but, you know, it's not an NFL podcast. I won't belabor the point. But, yes, I'm quite excited.
What was like that pick six last night? Was that kind of the topper?
That was the topper. Yeah. I think I felt really good when they got the scoop and score.
That was the scoop and score. Yeah.
Yeah, that felt like, okay, I can breathe. But let's turn back the clock to last Friday night in Mexia, Texas, when Kelan Collins put up a show for the ages in an overtime win over Fairfield. The reigning Super Centex Player of the Year erupted for 58 points. Possibly a Central Texas record. Our records are kind of sketchy in that regard. Certainly the most anyone can remember in a long, long time. Michael texted a lot of coaches to see. So, Michael, you were there, and you, I thought, captured Kel's outburst nicely in both your game story and then a follow-up column. Chad, you were there too, shooting pictures.
By the way, I challenge anyone to find a Rod Adelot shot better than that one of Kel dunking.
Oh, dunking, yeah.
Nice shot.
It's a good shot.
Nice shot. So where does that rank among like individual performances that you guys have witnessed? And then my other question is just this, like, what was Fairfield doing to try to slow him down? Like, did they throw every kind of defensive look at him?
Chad, you've seen more ball, especially up in the DFW area, so I want to let you.
Well, and the great thing, I read your column a little while ago. I read your column, and anytime you get a chance to refer to me as a high school football expert, is you know something good has happened.
I think this time I said high school sports expert. I think you have graduated from high school.
Graduated from all sports. Wow.
Yeah, there you
go. I've never seen an individual performance like it. I don't know. Gosh, who was I telling? I saw Rayford Young score 41 points against Kansas on February 13th, 1999. I saw I saw Juicy Landrum make 14 3-pointers in a big time tournament win. It wasn't a big time game. It was a non-conference game, but still it was a memorable game. Anytime somebody makes 14 3-pointers, right? That one's going to stick in your memory. But this was a totally different thing. And well, I mean, I guess it was like the Rayford Young game. By the way, that was Trey Young's dad, or is Trey Young's dad. Because he put the team on his back and took him to a win. And, you know, you and I, Michael, were talking about Fairfield was the favorite in the game, and you thought it might not even be a close game.
Right.
And they set the tone. And to answer the other part of your question, Bryce, about the defenses they were throwing at him, you got the sense, and it was one of the things that made the game so much fun is the environment inside the gym felt really friendly. Like these were people that have played together. They were going to play together again, you know, and even the people in the stands had played pickup games with the people on the court and things like that. And just kind of everybody knew each other and they were just kind of having fun.
Which you don't always see. You don't always see that in a rivalry.
Right. Yeah. I don't know where this specifically happens, but you know, there's somewhere in that Mexia, Fairfield, Tig area where kids just get together and ball a lot, you know, and not even just kids, probably people, you know, people of all ages. So there was, but I think in a way that worked against Fairfield because they're so familiar with Collins that they know, like, they've tried everything they can try all Saturday afternoon and all Sunday afternoon at different times in the year, trying to stop the guy. And it just ain't, you know, it wasn't a give up, but like it took Fairfield too long to like kind of get their own thing going on offense and stop wondering how bad Kel was going to beat them.
Mm.
It's like when you're squeezing the toothpaste out, you can't really put it back. Like I think they let him get too hot. I mean, and I'm not saying like they weren't trying like early in the game, but when Kel's coming out of the gates in that first quarter, Chad, and you and I saw him score 17 straight points, we were like, is this dude going to get stopped? And it's not like he's just, getting wide open layups. I mean, these are tough, hanging through multiple defenders, scoop, score layups, and then he's hitting step back NBA range threes, and you're just like putting your hands up, like, what are you gonna do? How do you stop this guy? I
Yeah,
mean,
one
it
of
was
my favorite
crazy.
moments of the night. And you said you got some video of this. I never did see it, but we were standing there at the corner of the court, and Blake Brackens, the Fairfield girls, stand out. Super Centex Player of the Year on the girls' side last year. She's walking like along the sideline to go up into the stands, and like she kind of gets caught right behind the action where the referee and the defender and Collins are all there, and he just makes a 3-pointer, like
He
guarded
used
3-pointer from about 6 feet beyond the 3-point line.
he
And she
had
just
kind of
had this
dribbled,
look on her face that was both kind of sad for her team, but kind of impressed at the same time,
right,
And
right.
as a player who's hit some pretty big shots in her own right, it
Man.
was just kind of the perfect expression.
Yeah, he had like used like a hesitation dribble off of the ball screen and just pulled
Mm-hmm.
up like right next to her, which was she was well off the court, and he
Mm-hmm.
was just way
Mm-hmm.
beyond the arc and just bam,
Mm-hmm.
swished it. It was
Mm-hmm.
crazy,
Yep.
unbelievable.
So I've seen some pretty good performances over the years, and I'm you know, Chad mentioned Juicy Lander. Juicy was at Baylor when she hit the 14 threes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if we're expanding it out, I could do a lot of, but I'm going to limit it to Central Texas high school basketball. Um, I mean, I saw the well-traveled Tyler Webb when he was a freshman at Bosqueville. He later played at Midway, later played at Conley.
Mm-hmm.
His freshman year at Bosqueville in basketball was something to behold. And I don't remember all the opponents of these games. I just remember the kid going off. I want to say it might have been Crawford, but that they were playing that night. But I just remember. He had one of those nights where he couldn't miss, and right before halftime, hit like a falling out of bounds three from like 35 feet or something. And when you see shots like that, you're like, yeah, like Michael
Yeah,
said, what can you
yeah. What
do?
what do you do?
I
Yeah.
remember Emoji Gibson when he was at university, pulling up, hitting some of those deep threes. On the girls' side, Robinson had a girl that Chad will remember, Haley Abbey, who went on to play at Baylor. Not play a lot, uh, but she was really good at Robinson. And I remember a playoff game over at MCC where she just, carried the load basically for Robinson. In the early 2000s, McGregor had this kid, Matt Brown, who later coached. And he was our Super Centex Player of the Year one year. And just could really handle the ball. It was like an all-star game out there. He was just like, it didn't matter how many defenders came at him. He could get around them. But in all of those cases, we're talking 28, 30, 35, maybe 40 points, okay? 58 is
Mm-hmm.
just another
And
level. How many
yeah,
games, how many high school games have all of us covered where
right. Yeah.
Neither
uh,
team scored 58
yeah,
points.
a team
Yeah.
didn't score
Maybe
58. You might
maybe
not
like
get
combined.
58 combined. Yeah.
Combined, right.
Well, okay.
Uh
I have to like sort of kind of go, okay, well, how about this, right? I mean, the goal when you step on the court is to win the game, right?
mhm.
Well, and you don't see a thing of beauty like a 58-point game if they're taking the air out of the ball in any way
Right.
whatsoever. However, when you got a rival down 20 points, 12 points, 10 points, 8 points in the second half of a high school game, and you want to win the game, don't you
Right.
put the ball under Kellen's armpit for about a minute and
You
let
kind of
some
have to go
time
like
go.
chew clock mode. That's if it's football, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I hate to see it when it happens, and I think there should be a shot clock. I even had a conversation with one of the coaches in the gym that night about the shot clock and that issue coming up, and he expressed to me that it was overwhelmingly voted down because they just don't think they could have the personnel that could show up and do it.
Right.
I think they're probably right about that. Those coaches go into enough gyms where they can barely like keep
Get
a
someone to do the book.
scorebook,
I mean,
The
right?
right,
number
But
of
right,
high school games that I've covered where I'm keeping track and often, uh, sometimes, you guys know, sometimes you maybe have a seat at the scorer's table, but a lot of times you may be sitting in the stands or somewhere where I've witnessed the score being wrong, the
right.
time being wrong.
mhm.
Yeah, that's a real concern in terms of getting a capable person to work a shot clock, because it's not quite as easy as it might seem.
Hmm.
Well,
So, but I'm
if
with
I'm
you.
ever known as a crusader in my life, it's going to be for basketball to be held in the same esteem and respect in this state that football
I
is.
love it. I love
Amen.
it.
Amen. Yeah.
Nice soapbox. Okay, let's keep it on the basketball topic. So, of the Centex basketball players that you've seen thus far, and you can include previous seasons when you've seen them, and we're talking boys or girls.
Oh, I didn't see that. This is any season?
Well, okay.
Well,
I'm saying active, but
yeah.
Oh,
you could
okay,
have seen
okay,
them last year.
okay, okay.
Uh, who would you want on your team in a game of 3-on-3? So, like, you're picking two other players to join yourself. Who are
Oh,
you
I thought
taking?
okay. I thought the idea was that you were going to have Kel plus two others and you were
No,
going
no,
to
no. So Michael understands the assignment. He'll go
I do.
first.
I do. Wait, so I get the first overall pick here?
No, no, it's not a draft. Just
Oh, it's not okay. Just
Chad could take the same two as you.
okay. Well, okay. I was kind of game planning as if I was going to lose some guys here. You know what? I'm gonna go one of each to kind of start. I'll take Rihanna Kinsey from La Vega.
Yeah.
I think that's a great scorer to have on my 3-on-3 team. I may not have to handle the ball that much, which is great if she's on my team. Um, and then if I need some size, man, how about Bates Dyer at Bosqueville? 6'7", 6'8", forward who can
Yeah.
dribble,
Yeah.
shoot, and dunk. I'll take that.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Okay. Chad.
Well, I'm going to take the reigning Super Centex Girls Player of the Year, who I mentioned a minute ago, Blake Brackens,
Mm.
because I mean we talked about the great game Kelan had the other night, and 58 points. That's a huge number that sticks in your head. But when it comes to clutch performances, and one of the great performances I've ever seen, Blake making three crucial shots,
Mhm.
two to come back, I think, from 4 points down in the final minute of the state
Mhm.
final, to tie the game, send it to overtime, and then another that kind of set the tone of overtime. Whew,
Mhm.
it's about as impressive a thing as I've seen from a high school basketball player. And then I'll take Kel, and I mean I'll just pass the ball to them and let them
There we
Yeah.
do
go.
it.
Yeah. You do the dirty work.
I ain't as young as
He's
I used to be. When we play golf, they can lean on me, but I'm gonna lean on them in the basketball game.
It's a good call. I was gonna say somebody's got to take Kel. Uh, all right. I'm cheating at my own question, but here's who I'm going with. I think you're gonna like the answer. Uh, I'm going with Will Cartwright and Marcus Willis. And we're gonna have an old man team. I'm older than both of those guys. Uh, but here's why I like this because and first of all, I'm gonna stop right here and say we need to have an occasional guest on our podcast. And so,
We
Michael, I
do.
want you to work on potentially having Cartwright and Willis together with us maybe next
We
week.
might get in some trouble on here talking to those guys, man. We
Yeah, but that
can
would be
we can
fun.
talk for too long with those guys,
That
man.
would
I
We
be
can
love
super
be
them.
fun.
edited though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, but here's why I like it. I have been involved in so many games, and Michael knows our buddy Nick, who we play basketball with. Michael, one time recently, last year, when the center was closed for some reason, I don't remember if it was, maybe it was when the floor was being redone.
Okay.
We were over at the Y playing, and
Hmm.
Nick and I played 2-on-2 versus these two high school teenagers who were younger, more athletic, and we just torched them. I mean, obviously Nick's good, but
Nick's really good. I was gonna say, yeah.
Nick is very good. But here's the thing: I scored all the points because we just pick
Right.
and rolled them to death. And
Hmm.
that's the thing about an old man team is you may be faster, you may be able to jump higher, all of that. Um, Old man know-how comes into play, and I think
I can respect that.
Cartwright
Yeah.
and Willis and I, that'd be a fun team. That'd be a fun team. So let's make it happen. We'll take on whoever, including y'all's teams. So we've talked a little bit about some of the coaching carousel in football in Central Texas. It always seems to spin pretty quickly at this time of year. Um, so I'm including. I don't think I phrased the question right initially, but of the teams that have made changes already and or the ones that are still vacant, okay? And that's like Belton, China Spring, Conley, Hillsboro, Mexia, Riesel. Um, which of those teams are you like, or coaches are you sort of intrigued by? And who's maybe set up for some success in 2026? What do you think?
Well, as of about an hour ago, Mike Tomlin is looking for a job, I guess.
It's
So
crazy. It's
might I
crazy.
suggest Riesel or Hillsborough to for Coach Tomlin? I think he could really turn those into.
Yeah, I don't know
Nice.
that. I don't know that they have Mike Tomlin money.
Uh, Josh Gregory taking over at China Spring obviously knows that program really well. Has been there for some big time wins and kind of knows what needs to go into the stew to make it work. So I'm excited to see what happens there. Riesel has had a couple of different coaches have some success there. So uh, they might be in position now. You know, with that. Riesel, Mart, and Axel are so close together, and now that Coach Lancaster is at Mart, you wonder if there's just going to be a vacuum of all those players going over there. But that all that stuff is kind of even sketchy to speculate on. But I do like,
Hmm.
I do like that Riesel has had success with a couple of different coaches in recent years.
Yeah, and I think Robert Little's first year back in Riesel, when he came back for his second stint, I want
Mm-hmm.
to say they were 9-2 in his first year back.
Yeah.
So it it can happen in your
Mm-hmm.
first year. Um,
Hmm.
you just have to. I mean, obviously you have to have some good players, but you have to have a lot of what the coaches would say buy-in.
Right.
They like that term a lot, but it's true. You gotta and sometimes a new coach can get kids excited.
Sure. One other new coach I'll name since Chad mentioned Gregory, Willie Carter, new coach at Connolly, hired back in I think the middle of December is when they made that official, and I heard he's he has started with this school district now, so he's there. He's starting to get to know kids. I'm excited to kind of he's a younger guy. I think he's 35, 34. He's a younger coach. But he's been an OC at some big time programs up in the DFW area and in Houston area, since he was last at Connolly, which I guess he would have been there when Garrick was also assistant under Shane Anderson. So he knows Connolly too, kind of similar to Gregory. Maybe just not. He probably doesn't know. Like he doesn't have this like quite the rich history like with one place as Gregory had with China Spring, but Willie Carter, I'm excited to kind of see what he does. We've seen a lot of talent go through Connolly, and maybe we'll see some more kids kind of emerge as like legit D1 guys in the future, but we'll see if they can kind of be a major player in that district, whatever it ends up being in February.
One more thought. We're going to really see the financial impact, and the growth of the tax base of Hillsboro now that Bucky's is opened, right? And the draw of that, right? And how many coaches were looking through the coaches listings and go, you know what, Hillsboro has a Bucky's now. I think maybe I'll go after that job.
Close enough to West Kalachi's, close to Bucky's, Hey, I don't know. Not bad.
Yeah, but they might not want to. The thing about going into Bucky's, and I'm a big Bucky's fan, is uh, you can drop 50 $75 like that.
True. Very
Not
true.
hard to do.
But hey, they gotta pay property taxes.
That's true. I'll mention Belton also as a program that has had some success in recent years, and I think it will be an attractive job. I don't think they've filled that position yet in Belton. And then just one more I'll mention, again, sort of cheating on my own question. But I'm really going to be intrigued to see what Lanny Williams does as the AD at Waco ISD. As Michael knows, I think Chad knows, I know Lanny from the 1990s, way back.
Back in the old days in Brenham.
Yes, he was an assistant baseball coach at Brenham High School when I was at the Banner Press, and we also went to church together. I was over there at Waco ISD Stadium yesterday doing some Super Centex six-man interviews and stuff, and got a chance to talk to Lanny for a few minutes, and it was good to catch up with him. But he's had sort of a well-traveled career since leaving Brenham, and I think I think he's going to do a good job. It's a interesting challenge, I would say, at Waco ISD always. But guys like Johnny Tusa and Ed Love are probably just a phone call away too. And
Right.
Of course, I think Rodney Smith's still over there, Ed Trocum. So you've got some guys that you can lean on too. So, all right. Well, we're recording this podcast on a Tuesday, and soon enough this week, we will basically wrap a bow on the 2025 football season with the rollout of the Super Centex six-man team and the Super Centex team. Both of those coming this week. As you guys think back one more time on the 2025 season, it's been a few weeks now. What will you remember this season most for? Like if someone 5 years from now came up to you and said 2025 high school football season, like it was blank, how would you kind of fill in the blank? What was it about for you?
Well, I think from the close-in perspective right now, it's all about what we saw in Class 2A, because we had that like unbelievably rich district with Bremond, Mart, and Chilton, and the games that produced. And then you had Hamilton winning a state championship was the big headline around here. The other thing in Class 2A, and no disrespect to any Central Texas players, but I think probably for years and years and years and maybe decades to come, people are going to look at the season Kagan Ash at Mount Enterprise had, with setting the single season and career rushing record, and rushing for like 2,000 yards just in the playoffs to get there. Something like unbelievable, like something ridiculous like that. And I mean, you just really can't say enough about like that achievement in the overall perspective of Texas high school football.
Yeah, it's incredible. Chad, you and I, of course, are on the board for the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain guys that come along where you go, he's going to be a Hall of Famer someday, and obviously Ash is one of those guys.
I'll have to wait to at least 2035, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. But Michael?
Yeah, I think this is a year that's defined by private schools. I just think about how many of those teams, got to that championship stage or won it. I mean, you look at Texas Wind winning that TAIAO Division I state championship trophy. That was a lot of fun to be there for in San Marcos. Big deal there. Obviously, Waco Christian Academy is that the TCAL Division Two
That's correct.
TCAL?
That's correct.
And then, Vanguard getting to that TAPS Division One six-man stage and coming up just short against a really good team who had been there. And then obviously, Bryce, you just mentioned you were talking to some folks out there, but Valor Prep, man. I mean, holy smokes. Valor Prep had a prolific year. Just air raid all over the place.
Bear
So
Griesemer, their quarterback, of course, threw 94 touchdown passes,
ridiculous.
which is just, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what level that is. That's just bananas.
Yeah, and he was throwing like 10 a game in the playoffs, like it was like every week when we were getting stuff from them, it was like 8, 9, 10, I mean, sometimes 11 touchdowns. It's just like, how are they doing this? But so yeah, I hope I didn't leave anyone out in
No,
that
I think you hit them
shout
all.
out. Maybe
MCH, they made the state
MCH, yeah,
championship
they make
game.
right. So man, just fun stuff. I think again, just looking back 5 years from now, I'm gonna think like, man, we had a good private school year. And I think just to tie it back to basketball, we're seeing some of that success kind of trickle into basketball play now too.
Live Oak, Vanguard, yeah, for
Hmm.
sure.
Vanguard, yep.
Uh, well, so first of all, I'm just going to be honest. If 5 years from now, if one of you, if anybody comes up to me and says 2025 Central Texas High School football, I'm going to go, dude, I can't remember what I had yesterday for lunch. Like you wanted me
Fair
to
enough.
remember 5 years ago. But then as I start to like think about it and go, okay, 2025, what was that year? Here's what I'm probably going to say. I'm going to be like, was that London Smith's senior year? And then I'm gonna
Yeah,
go, dude, that kid went off. Like he had a
we
great
did.
senior year, and so he's worth mentioning. I think along those same lines. I mean, I'll remember Kobe Haynes and kind of what he did at Whitney this year.
Sure.
Those two in particular were two guys that just really stood out week to week to week. I mean, obviously Kobe makes a big time position switch going from receiver to quarterback, and they don't really miss a beat. And I got a chance to see him play, and he made some great passes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you wouldn't just look at him and go, that kid's playing out of position or something. He just made plays.
Hmm.
And obviously you guys got a chance to see London a lot. I've seen him throughout his career, but um, I I mean I think it's safe to say that his junior year was disappointing. He had some injuries,
We
and
did, yeah.
he was not a Super Centex receiver last year. Uh,
Hmm.
he had a teammate that really had much bigger numbers. Um, and I think it felt like he was kind of on a mission this year, and
Right.
he went out and lived up to it. And a great year for the team, and a great year for London. So I'm certainly going to remember that because, I mean, Michael, you wrote about it in a story. He's like an all timer.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
one of those guys where you're like, dude, London Smith
Yeah,
could play.
yeah. No doubt about that.
Yeah, he's probably another one that Chad and I will have to remember a few years down the road and go, yeah, he might belong in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
You know,
Yeah.
we're creeping up on remember Bryce when we did the Super Centex 50th anniversary team?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're blessed to make it a few more years into this thing, we might be doing the 75th anniversary Super Centex
I
team
believe
before long.
it's what year is this one, Michael? I
Uh,
It's the 70th year of the Jinx.
hang on,
okay.
I can look
I
this
can.
up while you guys talk real quick.
Well,
Um,
so Michael, I don't know how much we told you about this, but
okay.
the 50th anniversary Super Syndex team is one of the most memorable things I've done in my entire sports writing career
Wow.
because I mean, we spent so much time on it and we had so many like running jokes. I remember laughing so much with John Werner about a particular coach in our area, and out of respect, I won't say his name, but we kept asking him about certain players, and he kept saying they were dead. But then we find out they weren't dead.
Yes, that was
Mhm.
particularly funny. We were trying to so Michael, we did as Chad said, um, and it really was a labor of love for us. I
Yeah,
mean, there's no question. I did just so much research. I
that sounds like a lot of heavy lifting.
well,
Mhm.
I had spent a lot of time on the microfilm, uh, going back and tracking down every Super Centex football team throughout the years. And once we got to that point where we had them all, then it was like, oh wow, we have all this information. Um, what can we do? And so we decided to, one, pick a 50th anniversary team, an all-time team. I think we were going to pick 50 guys, and then we ended up like because we know how it is when we're trying to pick a Super Syntax team. I think we ended up with like 51 or 52. We just like we can't leave him off.
Mhm.
But and then the cool part, as Chad said, like was we did this banquet, and it was at the Farrell Center. We had a wonderful marketing department at the Trib at the time. Ann Rosnowski did some heavy lifting in helping get that together. Dave Campbell was like the moderator, and we would have all the Super Centex guys from the 60s come up and take a picture, and the 70s and the
That's cool.
80s. And then, of course, we announced the all time team, and it was an amazing night. Um, and yes, be worth redoing. So I just looked it up. Last year was the 70th, so the one we're about to roll out is the
71st.
71st. So
Yeah.
yes, 75 is just around the corner.
Wow.
Yeah. So could we come up with 75 players? I think we'd be like, dude, we need to put on 80 on here, like but we at least have a team to work from the 50th. So anyway, yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Good thinking, Chad. We'll
Maybe
see.
we'll have another global pandemic and give us time to really do research on it, right? We'll need content for it anyway.
Right, but it's a good
Is that too
plug.
dark? Is that too soon?
Oh gosh, let's hope there's no global pandemic.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me put in a plug. I mentioned it's Tuesday as we record this. By the time you're watching this, folks, at least one of these teams is probably out. But the Super Centex six-man team will hit the web on Wednesday. It'll be in
Mhm.
Thursday's print editions, and then the 71st annual
Mm.
Super Centex team. Uh, we believe it to be the oldest all area team of any newspaper in the state. We've haven't ever come across anyone that's been around longer than that. That will
Mhm.
come out online Friday, in the paper Saturday. So be looking for that. That's always fun. I know people get into it. So you
Bryce,
can
I thought you were
tell.
going to plug the Midway production of Anastasia coming up this weekend.
Go see Anastasia. There's, I think, four shows. I'll make it to one of them. I am also going to Lawrence, Kansas this weekend. So
That's right.
yeah, that'll be fun. But
Big weekend.
yep. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
See you
See
guys.
ya.